Greetings, and welcome once again to the Grindhouse. We are in the midst of our Fulci night. So, we are in the middle of the zombie trilogy. When we last left off, I had reviewed City of the Living Dead. Good appetizer. This is definitely pretty much the main course, in my humble opinion. This is the Beyond. And this film was striking, to say the very least. This is probably, a lot of people would consider movies like Night of the Living Dead, or maybe Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, or maybe even, I don't know, maybe some of the older films like, say, Dracula or Frankenstein. Some of those would be considered the Citizen Kane of horror films. I say, yeah, okay, to a point, sure. But The Beyond is definitely, if it's not the Citizen Kane, it's at least the Doctor Strangelove of the horror genre, in my opinion. This is pretty damn close, though, truthfully. I mean, this movie had a lot. This movie had some great gore scenes. A little more gory than City of the Living Dead, surprisingly. Even though City of the Living Dead did have like one moment where I literally kind of had to turn my head. And I don't mind gore, but I'm not much on the gag reflex thing. That's a little anyway. But, let's see, going back to the gore effects, you've got, basically the story is, it's a hotel in New Orleans that is built over one of the 7 gates of hell. Okay. Not a Motel 6, surprisingly. Anyway. Yeah, please don't sue. Anyway, whatever. No, but in any event, this hotel is built on one of the 7 gates of hell. Catherine McCall's character, Liza, ends up inheriting this hotel and ends up becoming the owner. And of course, she's more or less running into a lot of bad things, namely zombies, everything from the undead. You got a crucifixion scene with Schweik. He's the painter who had originally lived where the hotel was when the villagers attacked him, and they killed him because they thought he was a warlock. And he tried to warn them about this property being built on where it was. They killed him anyway, of course, and there's a really gory scene in that one where they basically rip his flesh open with some chains and whatnot. And Ninja, come on up. Anyway, so he's basically torn to shreds in this one. He ends up dying, of course, comes back from the dead. Liza ends up meeting this girl, Emily. Emily is this blind girl. There's a lot of blind there's a few blind characters anyway. When they're blind, there's a good chance that they are either dead or sent back to Earth to do more killing. And Emily was more or less trying to... She escaped the threshold of life and death. I'm assuming hell or something. She escaped. She ended up back on Earth. But of course, Schweik was, wanting to get her back too. Because, he's there. Down. Come here. Anyway. Come on up. Yeah, anyway. So needless to say, hey, Ninja, relax. It's alright. Don't try to jump up there, please. Anyway, he ends up basically coming back to Earth to hunt her down, of course, and there's a kind of a vicious scene with Dickie, I won't go into. Trying not to do too many spoilers. There's also a great scene with tarantulas in it. Kind of a brutal scene with this lightning bolt striking a library where this one guy's investigating, and of course, he ends up, he ends up being basically the slightly a main course to the tarantulas. There's like about 6 of them coming out of nowhere. Good scene. David Warbeck is also in this movie, and he plays a doctor who was trying to basically investigate the things that were happening along with Liza. And of course, I have one small complaint about this film. David Warbeck, great actor, but his character, lousy shot. I mean, come on. Zombie films, you always aim for the head. You never aim for the arm, you never aim for the chest, you don't aim for the legs, aim for the head. Anyway, that's my only gripe, I suppose. The movie itself was really gory, though. I don't mind it at all, truthfully. There's a great scene with acid in it, too. But that's another story altogether that I really can't get into too much. Hold on a moment. There we are. Sorry. But yes. So, needless to say, it's definitely one of the, in my opinion, this is definitely one of the top, I'd put in the top 10 of my horror picks. At least for the old school horrors. Old school horror fans. Anyway, I'm hoping to be reviewing House by the Cemetery. If not tonight, sometime tomorrow. Technically, today. Until then, fare thee well.